Well, it's just nice how the schedule worked out this year and my videos that I plan to for content creating. That the Calgary Hitmen start their holiday break at a nice time here. Anyway, it's time for another episode of... Hi there, it's Brett Hornby here. Welcome back to my Calgary Hitmen in 6 here. We're up to Season 2, episode number 6 here, as I'm going to talk about games 25 to 30 here in the 2019-20 WHL regular season here. And as mentioned in the opening here, it actually worked out nicely when I planned out my schedule here, that the end of this segment, where I recap games 25 to 30, the Calgary Hitmen are going to have their little break here for Christmas here. So the next episode will be happening in the new year. And another part of the holiday tradition here is that I'll be recapping not one but 2 teddy bear toss games, as the Calgary Hitmen always have their annual teddy bear toss game on a Sunday afternoon at Calgary here. But the Calgary Hitmen also was playing in another teddy bear toss game, as they were up in Edmonton, and they had their teddy bear toss game on a Saturday night here. So you can find out here in the video who tossed more bears in what city here. However, it's still going to be tough to beat the Hershey Bears record, as they beat their own record, and I know they threw over, I think it was 41,000 bears at their teddy bear toss game. Keep in mind, in the American Hockey League arena only holds about 10,000 fans here. I mean, Calgary and Edmonton have their NHL-sized arenas, and it all goes to, all for the kids and children's hospitals here. So that's one sidebar in this video here. But let's recap and bring my notes here and talk about games 25 to 30 here. And as I figured in the last episode, and it turned out to be the case for this episode, that we have a mixed bag here in terms of performance on the ice here, because strength of schedule looked like it could play a bigger role here. However, I'm going to say the Calgary Hitmen have gotten some bodies back and started getting a little healthier here. Plus, they're on their Christmas break here, where they'll be off for at least 11-12 days here. So let's start off this episode. Game 25, this happened on Sunday, December the 1st. We were hosting the Red Deer Rebels at the Scotiabank Saddledome, 4 p.m. puck drop here, and this was the annual teddy bear toss game. And it didn't take long for the teddy bear goal to come, as Carson Fuchs scored his 15th just past the opening minute and a half, and Calgary was up 1-0 here. And 25 teddy bears later, we were back on the ice here. And after all that, nothing much else happened, so it was a 1-0 Calgary game after the first period here. Second period, Calgary pressed ahead on the shot clock, but there was no scoring, so it was still 1-0 Calgary after 2 here. Calgary did also survive being down shorthanded by 2 late in the second period there, so great job on the penalty killer. Third period, Calgary added another, as 46 seconds in, this was Riley Stotts, his 11th of the season here. Makes it 2-0 Calgary here. However, a minute and a half later, Red Deer gets on the board as Joel Sexsmith scores and that 5.5 minutes later, Cameron Hausinger for Red Deer score, and just like that, now it's 2-2 Red Deer here, and it stayed that way, so we need overtime. And then overtime here in the final minutes of the third period here, before we talk about overtime here, it was Dakota Krebs for Calgary and Zach Smith for Red Deer fought to make things interesting. So in the overtime period here, it was tied at 2-2 here, as Calgary scored the first 2 goals and Red Deer scored the next 2. It was Red Deer that did come back and win this one in overtime, as Josh Tarzell, who scored to make it 3-2 for the win for Red Deer at the 2:13 minute mark of overtime, and Red Deer completes the comeback here. Calgary did outshoot the Red Deer 31-25 overall, including Red Deer having a 2-1 advantage in overtime in shots here. You could say for Calgary, Carson Fuchs led the way with the teddy bear goal. And for goaltender, it was Jack Manon who was in net for Calgary. made 22 saves, while Red Deer had Byron Fancy, who made 29 saves here. So Calgary did not win their teddy bear toss game. And then they were off for the week here. So the next game on Friday, December the 6th, this is on game 26. This was in Calgary at the Scotiabank Saddledome, 7 p.m. puck drop. And we were hosting the Edmonton Oil Kings here. And definitely, as long as I've been doing this, and the fact that the Edmonton Oil Kings have been in the top 10 of the CHL this year, this has been another tough test here. And however, it actually looked good for Calgary early as Blake Allen. I mean, this guy has definitely found some scoring touch since he came here from the Regina Pats. He opens up the scoring at the 5-minute mark exactly. And Calgary had a 1-0 lead after the first period here. However, the second period was a different story, as Edmonton scored 3 goals, and it all happened on the power play here. So Calgary definitely got into trouble here, as Calgary paid for being shorthanded here. Edmonton scored all 3 goals, as I mentioned, on the power play. First, it was David Cope who scored for the Oil Kings in the opening minute here, so it was a 1-1 game there. Then at the 11.5-minute mark, it was Jake Neighbours for the Oil Kings, so it was 2-1 Edmonton. And then Dylan Guenther scored just before the 60-minute mark, so it was 3-1 Edmonton after 2 periods here. Now going into the third period, the ice was heavily tilted towards the Edmonton, and the Calgary Hitmen had an A-plus effort here. So on the Edmonton attacking end, the Calgary Hitmen were looking to get back into this game here. However, it wasn't until past the 17-minute mark, or the 18th-minute mark, Mark Kaslick's 17th goal here made it 3-2 Calgary with a minute and a half to go here. And Calgary did have a 2-man advantage midway through the third period. However, Todd Scott, the goalie for the Edmonton Oil Kings, played very well. And Calgary was able to get within 1 here with a minute and a half to go left here, but it was Edmonton that ultimately put it away, as Jan Lipin scores it to make it 4-2 in the final 20 seconds here. So Edmonton wound up taking this game 4-2 here. And then rough stuff came late in the game as Ty Carrier, who's back from his injury, with Adam Kidd and Jackson Vanderlee, all engaged in physical play with Ethan Kapp and Wyatt McLeod with Edmonton. And Calgary had misconducts to Ty Carrier and Jackson Vanderleest. So that's how it ended in the game there. Calgary did outshoot the Edmonton Oil Kings 42-21 overall, including 23-2 in the third period alone here. So I'm thinking one of those 2 shots that Edmonton took was in the empty net here. So when it comes to the goaltending here, it was Braden Peters that was in for Calgary. He made 17 saves. Well, the aforementioned Todd Scott, he was busy with 40 saves for Edmonton there. So yeah, this hasn't been a good start to this segment here. However, the next night, game 27, this happened on Saturday, December 7th here, as Calgary went up to QE2 to take on the Edmonton Oil Kings again, this time at the Rogers Arena, and this was their teddy bear toss game. And also to note here, the Calgary Hitmen, when they wear their special red Christmas-themed jerseys to when they host the teddy bear toss game, and actually the Calgary Hitmen wore them up in Edmonton there. I don't know if it's to make a statement, because Edmonton looked like they were wearing Mario coverall jerseys there, and we're all blue there, and I don't like that King logo that Edmonton has. I like their classic Crown logo, that Crown Royal logo, but maybe it's another Battle of Alberta thing here too, and actually you could say you could debate who had better Christmas jerseys here. However, Calgary, once again, it seems to be the theme in this episode, was able to open up the scoring past the 3.5-minute mark as Riley Stotts in his 12th here. Mention that Riley Stotts is the property of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Makes it 1-0 Calgary, and that was the score after 1. Calgary had a better job to start, and it continued well into the second period here. As Mark Kaslick, he's a property of the Ottawa Senators. He scored his 18th past the 9-minute mark. Now Calgary looked like they were in control, up 2-0 in the second period. However, these are the Edmonton Oil Kings we're talking about, and they definitely didn't go easily here. It wasn't until the final minute of the second period that Edmonton had their teddy bear goal. It was Ethan McIndoe that got credited with the teddy bear goal. So it was 2-1 Calgary after 2 here. Edmonton fans tossed 16,491 bears according to their website. So we threw over 8,500 more teddy bears than we did in Edmonton. So we at least won it that way. And I say it all goes to children's hospitals and their local communities there. So it's a nice thing that happens in junior hockey here. Third period, Edmonton was seeking an equalizer, and they were able to get it on a Josh Williams goal. Past the 7.5 minute mark, as the game is now tied at 2-2, and this one needs overtime. And in overtime here, Edmonton had a few more chances, but it was ultimately Jet Wu, the defenseman that we acquired from the Moose Jaw Warriors in the offseason here, and he's actually property of the Vancouver Canucks. Jet Wu scored for the Calgary Hitmen at the 2:31 mark of overtime here, and Calgary actually took this one 3-2 here. Calgary definitely deserved the win, as they actually outplayed Edmonton at all much of this game here, as we outshot the Edmonton Oil Kings 37-21 here. However, Edmonton had 3-1 shot advantage in overtime here. They led the way for Calgary with Mark Kaslick, the captain. He had a goal and 2 assists. On the Edmonton side, the puck here is Ethan Athendew, who scored the teddy bear goal. Jack McNaughton for Calgary for goaltending. He made 19 saves for the win there, while it was actually Sebastian Kosa who was in net for the Edmonton Oil Kings. So both goalies who didn't play the night before played this game. He made 34 saves for Edmonton there. So Calgary at least was able to get a win. I think both times we played Edmonton this season required overtime. So that was game 27 here. Game 28, this was happening on the next day here, so Calgary had a 3-game weekend here, as the Calgary Hitmen were hosting the Everett Silvertips. They're based out of Washington State there. This was a 4 p.m. puck drop at the Scotiabank Saddledome here. When I say third game of the weekend, and yet another tough test here, as the Everett Silvertips is one of the top teams in the league as well. However, Calgary came out strong and had the jump, and eventually was awarded with the first goal. A couple of goals late in the first period here. First, Riley Stott scored his 13th. That's the 60-minute mark. And then it was Igor Zamula who scored just before the 19-minute mark. So Calgary, with 2 late goals in the first period, had a 2-0 lead after one here. However, Everett Silvertips showed they were top 10 in the CHL here, as Everett opens up the scoring in the second period here. Past 3.5 minute mark, whereas Bryce Kindrop scores, and actually that was his 20th goal of the season here, so it was a 2-1 game. Calgary did manage to regain the 2-goal lead, as Riley Stotts just before the 9.5 minute mark made it 3-1 for Calgary. However, Everett got back in it within 1 at the 15-minute mark as Jalen Price scores, and now Calgary had a 3-2 lead going into the third period here. Third period, Everett takes over, and they scored 4 goals against the Calgary Hitmen here. First 2 were by Jake Christensen at the 1st minute mark and the 7.5 minute mark. So now, at that point, the Everett Silvertips were up 4-3 here. Everett got 2 more goals, first by Wyatt Willie past the 10-minute mark, and then Martin Fasco Rudas scores it past the 16-minute mark. So it was 6-3 Everett, and the Calgary Hitmen, after having a 3-2 lead going into the second period here, allowed 4 goals and dropped this one 6-3 here. Calgary did actually outshoot Everett this game, 35-26 here. It was Riley Stotts for the Calgary Hitmen who led the way with 2 goals and an assist here. Igor Zamula had a goal and assist, and Orca Weisblad also chipped in with 2 assists here. On the Everett side of the puck here, it was Jake Christensen who had the 2 goals and 1 assist there. And then it was Martin Fasco Rudas who had a goal and assist. And lastly, Dawson Butt. He actually chipped in with 3 assists in this game. So it definitely was not a pretty finish for the Calgary Hitmen with the Everett Silvertips here. So then the final 2 games was a back-to-back weekend set with the Lethbridge Hurricanes. So game 29, this happened on Saturday, December 14th, as the Calgary Hitmen were in Lethbridge here. It was a 7 p.m. puck drop at the NMAX Center here. And it's another tough test and another divisional opponent here, as Lethbridge is one of the teams that were chasing to jockeying for position here. Both teams came out strong and things looked evenly matched, but no scoring came in the first and the second period. So there was no scoring after 2 periods here. Calgary was a little more aggressive with a few more penalties, but we had no scoring going into the third period here. Third period featured all the scoring, and it unfortunately went all to the Lethbridge Hurricanes, though. First goal didn't come until just before the 4-minute mark of the third period here, as Dino Kambitz has opens the scoring for the Lethbridge Hurricanes, so they had a 1-0 lead here. And then Logan Bartlett makes it 2-0 midway point of the third period here, and then Alex Scotton scores the empty net at the 18-minute mark, so Lethbridge takes this game 3-0 here. Calgary had the slight edge in shots at 31-29 here. It was Braden Peters who was in net for Calgary. He made 26 saves. Well, it was Carl Tetyak who made 31 saves in the shutout for the Lethbridge Hurricanes here. So the next game, Game 30, this happened on Sunday, December the 15th, as these teams were facing off each other again, but this time here in Calgary at the Scotiabank Saddledome. It was a 2 p.m. puck drop here, and let's just say we were seeking revenge from the night before here, and Calgary starts off very well, aided on penalty trouble by Lethbridge here. So Calgary got their power play going here. As recently back from injury, Riley Fither-Schultz, and if I recall, he actually had a big Game 7 against Lethbridge last year. Ups the scoring just before the 7-minute mark, and that was his first of the season. He spent much of the season here. So it was 1-0 Calgary here. Then Carson Fuchs, 16 on the power play, adds the Hitman tally past the 13-minute mark. Then Riley Stotts again scores his. Riley Stotts. No, different Riley. Riley Stotts scores his 15th also on the power play to make it with 7 seconds left to go in the first period here. So it was 3-0 Calgary after 1. So, as I say, Riley Fither-Schultz had scored at the 7-minute mark to make it 1-0. And then Carson Fuchs, 16 on the power play, happened at the 13-minute mark of the first period. And then Riley Stotts scored his 15th of the season with 7 seconds to go in the first period. So it's 3-0 Calgary all on the power play here. Should also mention here, the Calgary Hitmen also shot the Lethbridge Hurricanes 14-1 as well. In the second period, Lethbridge came back better with a better effort and got on the board just before the 5-minute mark as DJ Jerome, what a name there, actually spells D-J-A-Y, then Jerome, scores the only goal in the second period here. So it was 3-1 for Calgary after the second period here. Third period, the Calgary Hitmen showed their dominance after an evenly played second period here, as Riley Fither-Schultz scores his second of the game in the season past the 5-minute mark, and then 3 minutes later, Calgary got another goal by Josh Prokop. So Calgary was up 5-1 at this point. Lethbridge did score one goal, short-handed though, as Justin Hull, just before the 11.5-minute mark, to makes it 5-2 for Calgary here, and that's how this one ended, as Calgary goes into the holidays here with a 5-2 win here. Calgary definitely outshot Lethbridge 38-17 here, including the aforementioned 14-1 in the first period, and they also outshot the Lethbridge Hurricanes 12-6 in the third period here. Calgary was led by Riley Fither-Schultz with 2 goals here, while the other Riley Stotts, and Josh Prokop each had a goal and assist each here. It was Jack Manon who was in net for Calgary. He only needed to make 15 saves to win, while Lethbridge, Carl Tetyak actually started this game. He made 11 saves for Lethbridge, but he was chased after allowing those 3 goals, and it was Byron Thompson who made 22 saves for the rest of the game for the Lethbridge Hurricanes here. So where do we stand as of after 30 games here? Well, Calgary has a 16-10 3-1 record as they lost 3 in overtime and 1 in a shootout here. So that gives them 36 points overall here. I mean, we're 4th in the Central Division and in the first Eastern Conference wildcard here. However, we still played fewer games than Lethbridge. Lethbridge played 5 more games, and the Mazenat Tigers have played 3 more games than the Calgary Hitmen, and they're 9 points behind them. So I still say we're in a pretty good spot here, so we're definitely going to have a busy stretch here going into the new year, because we're almost about 35-40% of the way in the season here. Remember, it's a 68-game schedule here in the WHL here. Injuries, though, well, Hunter Campbell actually during the stretch here, he got hurt. He's out week to week. Cale Zimmerman, who's been out indefinitely for a while here, and actually Mark Kaslik, he did not play those 2 games against Lethbridge here, but it's very minor, and he'll likely be back for the Hitmen when we get back from the holidays here. So actually, I'll take a look at the stats in the next episode here, so I don't want to rehash it every episode here. So the look ahead here, as I mentioned, the Calgary Hitmen are on a holiday break here. The next game will not be until Friday, December the 27th. This will be game 31. As the Calgary Hitmen actually will be playing the Lethbridge Hurricanes again. This time they'll be in Lethbridge at the MX Center. That'll be a 7 p.m. puck drop here. And then game 32, this will be on Saturday, December the 28th here, as the Calgary Hitmen will be heading east on the number 3, the Crow's Nest Highway, to take on the Medicine Tigers. In Medicine, this will be a 7:30 puck drop at the Canalta Center. And then game 33, the Calgary Hitmen come back home here as they take on Monday, December the 30th here, as the Edmonton Kings come to town, as the Calgary Hitmen will play them. That'll be a 7 p.m. puck drop. As it goes to Big Seldom here, and then game 34, this will happen on New Year's Day, start of 2020, on Wednesday, January 1st. The Calgary Hitmen will be hosting the Medicine Tigers. That'll be a 1 p.m. puck drop at the Scottish Big Seldom if you're not too hungover from New Year's celebrations. And then game 35, this is on Friday, January the 3rd here. The Calgary Hitmen go back to Medicine Hat as they take on the Medicine Tigers at the Canalta Center at be a 7:30 puck drop here. And then they'll wrap up the game 36 on Saturday, January 4th, as the Calgary Hitmen will be going west on the Crow's Nest Highway to take on the Lethbridge Hurricanes, and that will be a 7 p.m. puck drop at the MX Center here. So they're definitely going to have a busy week here after their holiday break here, and this will be all the games in episode 7 here after the holidays, and my next episode will happen in the new year in 2020 there. And as I mentioned, if you saw my sort of update video, hopefully I'll have a bunch of content when I'll be on my winter break here. So if you enjoy everything I do on my YouTube channel, just make sure you hit like, subscribe, and follow along, and hit that bell icon to be notified as soon as I upload anything. And I recap the Hitmen. I also do the Flames and Roughnecks and Stampeders here, and that's the bulk of my channel. I also do personal vlogs, sometimes attempt a comedy, and share moments of sporting events and scenery videos here. So if it sounds like everything you're interested in, just make sure you hit like, subscribe. I got tons of content already up here on my channel, and I got tons planned that I'll do during the winter break here if things all play out as planned here. So I'm going to say, let's go Hitmen here, and stay as we go. We're seem to be a good team right now, but we definitely get tested when we take on the top teams in the league here. So we're in that spot of mediocrity right now, but on the higher end of mediocrity, where I'm not worried about not missing the playoffs here, but do we have a nice long run in these guys, as we definitely set the bar a little higher last season here, but we still have another 36 more games to go here, as we're up to game 30 or 68ish. 38 games more to go here, so there's a lot more hockey left to be played here. So as I say, I'll see you in the next video here.